Good morning, G2 Nation, and welcome to another Story Time Friday. We're going to get your weekend started off a day early with a beautiful story time. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Hopefully you guys do have a good Friday leading into a wonderful weekend. But let's get to the subject at hand. Today's story time, the story of the G2 Quake. So the story about the Quake. The Quake. What do you guys want to know about it? That was way back in maybe 2013. So like, we had the Albatross, the Nessie, and the Triton. And then I think we came out with the Quake, which was our kind of our first venture out of the norm, I guess. If you guys played yo-yo back then, you know everything was coming out was full size. 56 millimeter was like the standard. It still kind of is. It's what most people like. It's comfortable in your hand. It plays really good. It's great for competition. It spins well, you know. But at that time, like, it was a little bit worse than right now. It was just, I feel like it was just everything that was coming out was 56. And I wanted to change pace there. When I had first gotten really into yo-yoing, everything was 50 millimeter. Just undersized was all the rage. And then at this point in time, when we're designing the Quake, everything is coming out is 56 millimeter. So let's change the pace on this. Let's make something different for our fourth release, and let's see if it'll stand out and be a little bit different and offer a nice variety to everybody's collection at the time. So probably started this in early 2013 because I think it came out in the fall of 2013. And like I said, we had even fallen into the trap. No, we had just been making full-size yo-yos. The Nessie was a little bit smaller of a full-size yo-yo, but at the time I still considered 54, and I still do now consider 54 millimeter a full-size yo-yo. But the Albatross and Triton were both right there at 56, right in that standard 56 millimeter. But yeah, the Quake was our first attempt to just make something outside of just the mainstream yo-yos that were just being produced over and over and over, it felt like at that time, and just kind of give us a little variance. But yeah, the Quake was just our attempt to think outside the box and get out of our comfort zone a little bit, is a good way to put it, and out of the safety net of that 56 millimeter full size, many people wanting that size yo-yo, which doesn't exactly make sense. If everybody wants 56, just keep making 56. But we just wanted to do a little bit of a change of pace and keep things fresh. That's kind of what makes yo-yoing fun, as most of you guys know. So we decided to venture into something new with the Quake. So the Quake design process, it's from way back. So this morning I've been trying to think about what the design process was for Storytime, and I remembered that the Quake was designed by me and Drew, who is unfortunately no longer with us. If you don't know that story, it's a sad story, but miss you, Drew. But anyways, it's one of his lasting legacies, I suppose, in the yo-yo world, was that he helped me design the Quake and then Aftershock. But when I went to Drew about designing the Quake, we started working on it. I gave him my ideas, gave him the basic outline of the yo-yo, the shape I wanted, the specs I wanted, and I kind of said to him along the lines of, because at this point, if you don't know Drew was a much quicker player than we were giving him tools to use at this point in time. So I told him to kind of, hey, this is going to be a smaller, unique yo-yo, but we want it to be more speedy, a quicker yo-yo, more competition friendly. Basically, run with this design a little bit into something that you think would fit your playstyle, because I know right now the Albatross, the Nessie, and the Triton aren't right up your alley for the tricks that you like to do and the style you like to play. And he kind of ran with it. We ended up with the Quake that you have today. Like I just said there, it is a quick yo-yo, more competition friendly. Even though it's smaller, So you wouldn't think, oh, I forgot I put one in my pocket somewhere. Even though it's smaller, you wouldn't think it's great for competition, but for a smaller yo-yo, it does pretty well. It's not the most stable yo-yo, but it is quick. You can see the V shape here, soft organic V. We'll use 2 of the letters, maybe even a little H in there. But we're gonna go ahead and snap some photos of this. But that's kind of where it started. Definitely smaller. That was the design process, the play process. And the Quake was interesting because I was worried about dropping it, because we had taken this risk to step out of the norm. So I wasn't really sure what everybody would think about it, who's interested in it, who wants it, type of deal. The whole team really liked the Quake, so I was happy with that. But I wasn't sure about the fan base, customers. Is anybody going to buy this? Is anybody going to step out of the norm and buy something smaller again? And the Quake was back when we were doing large runs and filling stores instead of the small weekly drops we're doing now. So we probably sent out like 150 Quakes to the various stores and set up a drop time, universal drop time and everything, and they sold out in like 48 hours. So that was the first time that we had really experienced like a you know what I mean, just like a huge demand for something that we had made. Wasn't quite the same as it is today with the instant sellouts, but in under 48 hours everywhere was out of them. And I had already ordered the next run of Quakes, but they hadn't even been machined yet. So we were sold out, and now we had like another 3 or 4 months before we were gonna be able to restock them again. So that was one of the first yo-yos that we had that problem with. Like the Triton was a fan favorite, and we were constantly stocking it, so it was never really like sold out, and then you gotta wait months. We'd drop it, it wouldn't sell out right away, but over the course of a couple weeks it would sell out, then we'd restock the stores. And that wasn't something we were able to do with the Quake, just because we did that one big run. I didn't know how it was going to sell, and when it ended up just selling just like that in a couple days, I was actually really shocked to see everybody that jumped onto the smaller yo-yo train, I guess you would be. After that, it led into the Aftershock, but that's a different story for another time, I suppose. The too long didn't read. The Aftershock is a bigger version of the Quake. I think it kind of looks like, I forget, there's like a Yo-Yo Factory yo-yo that it looks like that people would say, oh, look at that, it's just this yo-yo. And it's just the Quake upgraded into that 56, that magical 56 millimeter range that everybody loves. But that led into the Quake and Aftershock. Well, why is the Aftershock bigger? But it was really just, we really liked the shape, we wanted to see it bigger, and the Aftershock happens after the earthquake. So that's why we named it that, not based on the sizing. Anyways, hopefully you guys did enjoy story time. I'm gonna go snap some photos of this, I think it's the Wasteland Quake, and call it a day. And I'll see you guys on Monday. If you are looking to pick up a Quake, we do have some at the anodizers now, so hopefully if you are new to the G2 scene, you'll be able to snag one of the retirement run here coming up in, I don't know, a couple months. Thanks for watching, guys.